This video is for the remainder of the dividing radicals worksheet. We're going to work just a couple more examples. All right, so let's jump back up. Let's go back to an easy one. Let's start off easy. Let's go to number 5. Okay. All right, the name of the game is we cannot have a radical on the bottom. Okay. Find a pen that works. Number, wait, 4 or 5? What did I say? 5. Sorry, we did 4. All right. So we've got 5 minus. Actually, let's go all the way back to basics. Let's look at number 1. That's a basic one. If I could copy down numbers correctly. All right. You cannot have this radical on the bottom. So we're going to multiply.
7.
No, the square root of 7. So the 2 stays here. What's underneath the radicals gets multiplied together. 6 times 7 is 42. Now, this radical, doing this, the square root of 7 times the square root of 7 gives me a 7. But I still have to multiply that by that 6. So 6 times 7 is 42. So the square root of 42, always check to see if they'll break down. 42 is 6 times 7. 6 is 2 times 3. If you don't have any buddies, it won't break down. But will 2 go into 42?
Yes.
Yeah, 42 is the same as 2 times 21, which means this 2 and this 2 will cancel.
No,
It's the square root of 42 over 21. As long as you don't have a radical in the denominator, you are okay. If it's up there on top, that's fine. So who is Lady Gaga's dog? Asia. So that's a basic level 1 problem. Okay. Level 2, I would say, or level 1.5 is number 5. So 5 minus the square root of 3 over 4 times the square root of 15. So I want to get rid of the radical. So I'm going to multiply the top and the bottom by that radical. All right, so at the bottom, square root of 15 times square root of 15 simplifies to a 15, but I still have that 4, which is 60. Okay, to multiply this is a binomial times the square root of 15, which means I have to distribute this square root of 15 out. I got to multiply it by each piece. So 5 times the square root of 15, just smush them together. If it's a number and a radical, just smush them together. Here, so we know it's going to be negative because that negative's out in front. Multiply what's underneath together. 3 times 15 is 45. Is there anything that will simplify down?
The 5 and the 16.
Yeah, but look, I've got to be able to get rid of something in front of that. So I can't just knock off this 5 and this from this 60.
Oh,
Because there's a 1 right here.
Right.
So there's no common term with a 1. So there's nothing to simplify. So what dog is 5 square root of 15 minus the square root of 45 over 60? Shadow?
Yeah, number 5.
Yep.
Yeah, shadow.
Shadow.
What was number 17 yesterday? I never wrote that down. I know we did.
Sheriff. All right, let's jump to 13. Is that right? Yeah, 13. All right. So now this is more level 2. This is monomials. All right. So negative 3 minus 4 times the square root of 5 over square root of 5, square root of 2. Okay. When the bottom is a binomial, do y'all remember what the word was, what we multiply by?
It's the opposite, but I can't remember what it's called.
You use FOIL. It's the conjugate.
It's just the opposite.
It's changing the sign in the middle. All right, so we got to FOIL the bottom. So first, square root of 5 times square root of 5, just a 5. Outside. So with this minus in front here, we're just going to start this thing off with a minus and that square root. And then we multiply what's underneath. 5 times 2, 10. 2 square roots, so we know it's going to be underneath that radical. 5 times 2 is 10. Square root of 2 times square root of 2. There's a negative there, though, so we know that negative just carries over with the 2. So, where's my black pen? There it is. This cancels this. What's 5 minus 2?
3.
So we know there's a 3 on the bottom. We got to FOIL this as well. This times this. So FOIL, F-O-I-L. All right. Negative 3 times the square root of 5. Just smush them together. Outside. Negative 3 times the negative square root of 2. But what happens with 2 negatives? So now it's 3 square root of 2. Inside, negative 4 times the square root of 5 times the square root of 5. All right, negative 4
It's just 4 times 5, right?
times the square root of 5 times the square root of 5. This piece right here just turns into a 5. But again, just kind of don't lose pieces in there. All right, and then last. So we know, okay, negatives again. Negative 4 and negative here means we're going to have a positive 4. Then the radical, 5 times 2 is 10. Nothing to combine, right? Yeah, because 10 won't break down. That's as simple as it gets. So we've got negative 3 square root of 5 plus 3 square root of 2 minus 20 plus 4 square root of 10. That is still an ugly answer, but that is a simplified answer.
This is 13.
This is 13.
Harley.
Harley?
Harley?
Mm-hmm.
Like Harley?
Yep. All right.
Are these like actually their dogs' names or is this made up?
I don't know. I bought this off of somebody because I was too lazy to make something.
But you made it out loud.
If I had made it, yeah, I would have looked up celebrity pet names because the OCD would not let me put incorrect information. All right, Martha Stewart, let's do 15. 4 minus 5, square root of 3, square root of 3 plus 2. So, multiply by the conjugate. Square root of 3 minus 2, square root of 3 minus 2. Okay. FOIL.
The bottom first or top?
I always do the bottom first to make sure that the radical cancels out. So, square root of 3 times square root of 3, just a 3. Square root of 3 and a negative 2, smush them together. 2 times the square root of 3, smush them together. Positive 2 times a negative 2. Negative 4. So this cancels this. 3 minus 4. Come on, buddy. All right, and we got to foil the top. All right, 4 times square root of 3, smush them together. 4 times a negative 2, negative 8. Inside, all right, negative 5 square root of 3 times square root of 3.
Is
Negative 5 times a positive 3, negative 15. All right, what about negative 5 square root of 3 times a negative 2?
Positive 20?
Uh-uh.
Or what do you do with that?
Negative 5 times the negative 2,
So that'd be a positive.
10.
10.
Tack the square root onto the ends. Do I have anything that will combine?
Yes. The negative 8 and the negative 15.
Okay, so what are those two things going to combine to make? These will combine too.
Yeah.
Remember what I told you? If the radical's the same, it's pretending like it's an x. 4 and 10 makes a 14. Square root of 10. Yeah, you just add the coefficients together. They're like terms.
Wait, why is the square root of 10?
3.
Okay.
Shut up. So I've got 14 square root of 3 minus 23. Now, do we ever write a fraction over 1? No.
You just make
Flip the signs. Negative 14 square root of 3 plus 23. This could also be written, again, depending on how the order wanted. I had a professor that wanted it this way because proper is to put your whole or your natural number first and then the irrational numbers at the end.
But you don't care which way we do it.
I don't care, because this is a matching. Okay, Genghis Khan. I don't think that is her dog's name unless she has a bigger dog. Because she has French Bulldogs.
Who are we talking about?
Martha Stewart. I don't know if I spelled that.
Did you go to jail?
She did for embezzlement. Or insider trading.
Did you try to get her kids to college? Or
No, wrong person. Martha Stewart was doing like insider trading, so she kind of had a heads up, like when her company was going to do really well, or when there was going to be like a slump in sales. So she could put more money in when she knew the company value was going up, and she could pull her money out when she knew the company value was going down.
What's wrong with that?
It's illegal. It's highly illegal. It's theft. I mean, that's why I don't do stock market.
But if the company's telling her, then isn't it the company's fault?
No, it's not the company telling her. It's
like
somebody
an
on the
insider.
inside of another company. It's doing things, because what it hurts, she's going to be just fine. Who it hurts is like if I had money invested in her company. I'm the one that gets hurt.
You just need a little paper, right?
No, let's do one more. Selma Blair, let's do her.
Number 16?
All right. Yeah, let's do 16. Negative 2 plus the square root of 5 over 4 plus 4 times square root of 2. Multiply by the conjugate. All right, FOIL. 4 times 4, 16. 4 times a negative 4 is a negative 16. Tack on the square root. 4 times 4 is a positive 16. Tack on the square root. All right, what happens here? 4 times the square root of 2 times negative 4 times the square root of 2.
So you get just put it negative. But it's
So-
basically just negative 4 times 2.
It's 4 times a negative 4. And then this turns into a 2. Okay? So negative 16 times 2, is that negative 32? Is that right?
Yeah, it is. Well, yeah.
All right. So this cancels this. 16 minus 32. Negative 16? All right. Foil the top part. All right. Foil. Negative 2 times 4. Negative 8. Negative 2 times the negative 4 is a positive 8. Tack the square root on the end. Square root of 5 times 4. Smush them together. square root of 5, and negative 4 times the square root of 2. So the negative 4 just stays. Keep this. 5 times 2 is 10. Anything that'll combine? Nothing, right? So negative 8 plus 8 times the square root of 2 plus 4 times the square root of 5 minus 4 times the square root of 10. But you can simplify. Here's where I'm going to simplify first. I don't like this negative down here. So I'm going to get rid of this negative first. I'm going to flip everybody's sign. 8 minus 8 square root of 2 plus 4 square root of 5.
Should be minus 4.
Ah! Plus 4 square root of 10. 16. Okay. What number is a factor of 8, 4, and 16?
4.
All right. So I'm going to write all of these as with a factor of 4. So 8 is just 4 times 2. 8, 4 times 2.
What's negative 8?
I'm not even messing with the signs right now. I'm ignoring them. I'm attaching them to the factor that I'm not going to cancel. Okay? 4 times 1. All right. So 16 is 4 times 4. All right. So this 4, this 4, this 4, and this 4 all cancel out with that single 4 on the bottom. Here's the why. When you have addition up here or subtraction up on the top, I can break this fraction down into its individual pieces. So I could write it like this. And that 16 gets split up. So the same thing would happen if I would factor a 4 out of everything. I've got a 2 here, I've got a 4 here. I've got a 2 here, I've got a 4 here. This cancels, I've got a 4 here. This cancels, I've got a 4 here. And then when I push it all back together, 2 minus 2 square root of 2 minus square root of 5 plus square root of 10. It comes out the same. That's the why behind the math. Why that works, or why you have to have a 4 for each term. Okay. All right, who's
Weak.
Wink? Wink. Okay.